When a woman's body begins to hunger for intimacy, the first thing that shifts is not something obvious, but something deeply subtle. It is her energy. Energy is something you can't touch with your hands, but you can feel it in your presence. You may not be able to fully explain it, yet you notice it the moment you walk into a room. A woman carries an aura, a vibration, a field of invisible signals that are constantly radiating. When her body begins to crave that closeness, when her spirit awakens to a deeper desire, the atmosphere around her changes. It is as if she is speaking in a language without words. The very way she moves, the tone in her laughter, the softness of her gaze, all of it begins to carry a frequency that wasn't there before. That is why energy is powerful. It communicates more truth than words ever could. You've probably experienced this yourself without consciously realizing it. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt a pull towards someone without a single word exchange? That pull is not physical at first. It is energy aligning with energy. A woman whose body is hungry for intimacy sends out waves of magnetic energy, and if you are aware, you will feel it. It's almost like standing in the sun after a cold day. There is warmth that wraps around you, and you don't know exactly where it is coming from, but you feel it. This energy is not forced. It is not something she sits down to create or intentionally puts on. It flows naturally because the body and the mind are deeply connected. When the body hungers, the spirit expresses. This shift in her energy shows up in her presence. You might notice that she lights up spaces in a different way. When she enters the room, the air feels charged. You can sense that something has awakened within her. This is not about loudness or attention seeking. It is not about her doing something deliberate. It is about how her inner state translates into an outer presence. When desire is awakened, it brings with it an intensity. You might see in the way she pauses before speaking, the way she lingers a little longer in your company, or the way she creates an atmosphere that invites closeness. Energy reveals the invisible story. This change is often subtle. But subtlety does not mean weak. Subtlety is powerful because it is hidden, and what is hidden has depth. Imagine fire beneath the surface of the earth. You don't see it, yet it has the power to reshape mountains. In the same way, when a woman's body becomes hungry, her aura is like that hidden fire. Her smile may hold more softness. Her movements may seem more fluid. Her very presence feels like it carries a current. This is not just about attraction. It is about the language of energy that bypasses logic and touches instinct. What makes this fascinating is how this energy works even without conscious awareness. She might not even realize she is radiating differently. To her, it may feel like restlessness, like a craving for something she cannot name. Her conversations may take on more depth. Her eyes may hold yours a little longer. Her laughter may carry a spark that ignites something in you. This is energy at work. It is desire translated into presence, hunger translated into atmosphere. Think about how sensitive human beings are to energy. If you walk into a room where tension is thick, you don't need anyone to tell you. Your body knows. If you walk into a room where joy is overflowing, you feel lifted instantly. That's the nature of energy. So when a woman carries this hunger within her, the vibration of her body radiates beyond her, and you feel it. It makes you pay attention, even if you can't explain why. This is why those who are truly perceptive never just listen to words. They listen to presence. Presence carries truth that the tongue sometimes hides. And when it comes to desire, presence cannot be concealed for long. Energy has a way of leaking out, of revealing itself through small actions and subtle cues. It is in the way she tilts her head, the way she lowers her voice, the way her energy suddenly seems more magnetic than usual. And here is the deeper truth. Energy is the language of connection. Before any physical closeness can occur, energy has already written the story. When a woman's body becomes hungry, her energy writes an invisible script that draws you closer. It creates a silent dialogue between you and her. She may not say it directly, but her presence will. You will feel her aura pulling at yours, as if the universe is arranging two frequencies to meet in harmony. This is not manipulation, not performance. It is nature. Just like the tide responds to the moon, just like flowers turn to the sun, the body has its own rhythm. Desire is part of that rhythm, and energy is its expression. To ignore would be like ignoring gravity. You may not see gravity, but you live within it every moment. You may not see energy, but you feel it every time you stand in the presence of a woman whose body is alive with hunger for intimacy. The great lesson in this is awareness. Most people live blind to energy, focused only on what they can see or hear. But those who learn to read presence, who pay attention to the unspoken, can see what others miss. They notice when her energy becomes warmer, when her aura glows stronger, when the very air shifts around her. They recognize that her energy is the first sign that something deeper is stirring within her. Because before words, before actions, before expressions, the body speaks through energy first. When a woman's body begins to crave intimacy, one of the most powerful places this hunger shows itself is in her eyes. And I have always been called the window to the soul, but they are also the first mirror of desire. You can try to hide emotions with words. You can attempt to control gestures, but the eyes rarely lie. When a woman is moved by a deeper hunger within, her gaze begins to change. It lingers longer. It softens in unexpected moments. It sparks with a light that almost feels magnetic. It is not something she consciously crafts. It flows naturally from her body's inner state. The eyes communicate more than any spoken sentence. And in moments of desire, they carry a story that words cannot touch. The shift is subtle. yet powerful. Imagine sitting with her and normally her eyes meet yours casually, then drift away. But when her body awakens, that same gaze holds you. It stays a fraction longer than usual, almost if her spirit is reaching out. There's a softness there, but also intensity, a quiet, unspoken invitation that pulls you closer without a single sound. You may find yourself drawn and unable to look away because her eyes are saying what her lips are not ready to speak. That is the beauty of the eyes. They whisper truths that the mind tries to keep silent. You'll notice, too, that her eyes become more expressive. They dance in conversations. They sparkle in laughter. They glow when she looks at you. Sometimes her pupils may widen as if her body is instinctively opening its gates to let you in. This is biology at work, but also energy manifesting through biology. The body knows what the soul desires, and the eyes act as the messenger. The hunger within doesn't remain locked inside. It spills outward through the way she looks, the way she glances, the way her eyes follow you when you aren't even paying attention. Think about how powerful it feels when someone looks at you with real focus. Not a glance, not a casual acknowledgement, but genuine focus. It makes you feel seen, important, chosen. When a woman's body is stirred, her eyes give you that focus in doses. Sometimes deliberate, sometimes accidental. She may not even realize how long she has been looking, how much warmth she is pouring through her gaze, but you feel it. You notice the difference between a polite look and an intimate gaze. The former passes quickly, the latter stays with you long after. This change in her eyes may also show up in subtle ways. Perhaps her gaze drops to your lips more often, or maybe she looks away quickly when caught, as if her eyes betrayed the truth faster than she intended. That quick retreat, that sudden shyness is not rejection. It is evidence that her body's hunger has already begun to direct her focus. The eyes wander where the heart desires, and when the body is awake, her gaze reveals more than she would admit. It's not always about intensity either. Sometimes it's about depth. Her eyes may soften when she looks at you, carrying an unspoken tenderness. It's the kind of look that holds curiosity and desire all in one. You might notice her blinking less, as if she is afraid of missing a moment. The eyes in those times are like a silent embrace. They hold you, they draw you in, they remind you that something powerful is stirring in her. Another powerful sign is eye contact during conversation. When her body craves, she doesn't just listen, she absorbs. Her eyes stay fixed on you as if your words are more than words. They are food to her, fuel to her fire. You might notice her gaze flickering with emotion as you speak, almost as she is translating your words into feelings within herself. This intensity is not casual, it is the mark of desire manifesting through focus. But sometimes it is not about staring directly. Sometimes it is about the stolen glance. Those moments when she looks at you when she thinks you aren't noticing. Maybe across a room, maybe during a pause in the conversation, maybe while you are looking elsewhere. Her eyes return to you again and again as if pulled by gravity. And when you catch her, she may smile, look down, or look away quickly. But the truth has already been spoken. The hunger of her body has already announced itself in those fleeting seconds of connection. Human beings are wired to read eyes more than any other part of the body. It's instinct. From birth, we seek connection through gaze. That is why when desire begins to awaken, the eyes become the first stage. They broadcast what the lips hold back, what the mind senses. And the beauty is, this communication cannot be forced. You can fake a smile, you can fake a laugh, but it is almost impossible to fake the electricity of eyes when desire flows through them. This is why those who are aware pay attention to more than what is said. They look into the eyes, because the eyes are the truest language of intimacy. They are the canvas where the hunger paints itself most clearly. A woman whose body is awakening does not need to announce it. Her gaze already has. It lingers, it shines, it follows, it speaks. It turns ordinary moments into silent confessions, reminding you that something deeper is moving beneath the surface, something too powerful to stay hidden for long. When a woman's body begins to hunger for intimacy, one of the clearest ways it shows is through physical sensitivity. Her body becomes more alive, more receptive, more aware of the smallest touches and gestures around her. The human body is wired to communicate desire long before words or deliberate actions ever enter the picture. And for a woman, this sensitivity becomes a language of its own. It may begin in ways so subtle that most overlook them. Perhaps she brushes against your arm a little more often, or her shoulder lingers against yours in a crowded space when before she would have pulled away. The body speaks through contact, and when hunger awakens, touch becomes a chosen tool. She may find herself playfully nudging you during conversation, finding reasons to close the gap between you. It may look casual on the surface, but it is her body reaching outward, seeking a form of closeness that words cannot achieve. Touch is a primal language. It bypasses thought, bypasses logic, and goes straight into connection. When a woman hungers, her nervous system heightens, and small touches carry amplified meaning. What was once just a casual brush of the hand becomes a deliberate signal, a way of saying, I feel something, and I want to move closer. This increased sensitivity also shows in a reaction to being touched. A gentle graze of your hand, a pat on the back, or even an accidental bump may cause her to respond more strongly than before. She may smile out or linger in the moment rather than dismiss it. The body cannot hide heightened awareness, and in those moments, her reaction reveals that touch carries more weight. It isn't simply about physical contact. It's about the unspoken electricity behind it. Desire makes the body respond with more intensity, more awareness, more openness. You may notice, too, that she positions herself closer to you without realizing it. In a room full of options, she gravitates toward your space. When she speaks, she leans in, reducing the gap. Even in group settings, her body angles toward you. Her feet point in your direction. Her posture seeks alignment with yours. These subtle cues are not random. They are her body expressing the hunger it feels. Physical closeness becomes the stage where her sensitivity plays out. She may not declare it with words, but her body is declaring with every step, every lean, every slight movement toward you. Another layer of this sensitivity is how she responds to sensory triggers. A light brush against her hair, a playful touch on her hand, or even the way you stand close enough that she feels your presence can shift her mood. She becomes more attuned to those little details. The brush of your knee under the table, the way your shoulder presses against hers on a walk, the way her skin seems to notice every bit of contact. These are signals of a body alive with desire. This is why the smallest gestures can carry such deep meaning in these moments. A simple graze, which might mean nothing at another time, now sparks something far greater. Playfulness often emerges from this sensitivity. You might notice her finding excuses to touch, fixing something on your clothing, handing you an item in a way that lets her fingers linger, playfully pushing against you during laughter. These little actions are not just about fun. They are her way of creating moments of closeness. It is the body's way of easing into intimacy without having to say it outright. Touch is safer, easier, more natural than words when the hunger is just beginning to rise. Her voice may also shift in response to this heightened sensitivity. When she speaks, her tone may soften when you are close, almost as if her body adjusts itself to match the intimacy of the moment. Touch and sound often work together, and when desire flows through her, you can sense her openness not just in the way she touches, but in the way she responds to touch with her whole being. She becomes more present in these moments, more engaged, more alive to what's happening between you. This increased awareness of physical sensitivity is not something she consciously decides. It is her body's natural rhythm. Desire awakens the senses, and her body begins to crave the closeness designed for. Even something as small as sitting beside you may feel charged with energy. The brush of fabric, the warmth of her skin, the closeness of her breath, all of it becomes part of the silent dialogue of intimacy. She doesn't have to say it. Her body says it for her. And what's remarkable is how consistent this sign is across all experiences. The body always reveals what the mind may be hesitant to voice. When she hungers, her body naturally reaches for connection, naturally responds more deeply, naturally seeks ways to break the invisible barrier of space. Whether through playful nudges, lingering touches, or simply standing a little closer than necessary, her sensitivity announces her inner state. It is not random. It is not coincidence. It is the body translating hunger to physical expression, reminding you that beneath the surface, something powerful is unfolding. When a woman's body becomes hungry for intimacy, one of the most telling shifts emerges in the way she communicates. Words may appear the same on the surface, but tone, rhythm, and intention begin to carry a new undercurrent. Communication is never just about language, it is about vibration. And when desire awakens within her, that vibration cannot help but spill into her conversation. She may not even be aware that her voice is softened, that her laughter has taken on a different texture, or that her words now carry subtle hints of playfulness. The body influences the mind, and the mind influences speech. What she craves internally begins to manifest externally, creating a new form of dialogue that is layered with unspoken meaning. You may notice first the tone of her voice. Normally she might speak in a casual, everyday manner, but when hunger stirs, her voice naturally drops into a gentler, smoother rhythm when speaking to you. It isn't forced, it flows without her realizing it. This softness is her body's way of creating intimacy through sound. Words that might otherwise be neutral take on a warmth, almost like they are wrapping around you. She may elongate her sentences, speak slower, or let her words linger in the air as if she doesn't want the connection to end too quickly. Desire changes the way communication feels because it becomes less about information and more about connection. Along with tone comes playfulness. You might hear more teasing, more joking, more lighthearted remarks designed to create sparks between you. She may playfully challenge your words, find humor in small things, or throw in a comment that is just enough to make you wonder if there's something deeper behind it. This playfulness is not random. It is her way of building a bridge of intimacy without having to fully expose her feelings. By keeping the conversation charged with fun, she creates a safe space for closeness, a dance of words that carries its own electricity. Her choice of topics may also shift. Conversations that once stayed surface level may now drift into more personal, vulnerable, or emotionally charged areas. She may share dreams, talk about relationships, ask questions that dig deeper into who you are. This is her way of drawing closer, of peeling back the layers. Hunger makes her curious, attentive, and more willing to invest emotional energy into the dialogue. It is no longer just small talk. It becomes an exchange filled with meaning, with subtle invitations for you to step into her inner world. Pay attention, too, to her responsiveness. When her body craves intimacy, she engages more fully in conversation. She listens intently, reacts quickly, laughs at your humor even if it's small, and makes you feel like your words matter more than they usually might. Her body pushes her to connect, and her communication reflects that. She may even mirror your words or phrases, unconsciously aligning her speech with yours. This mirroring is not manipulation, it is instinct. When we desire connection, Our minds naturally begin to align with the rhythm of the one we are drawn to. Silence becomes telling as well. In normal interaction, silence may feel like a pause, a gap to be filled. But when she hungers, silence takes on a different texture. She may let pauses linger, holding eye contact during the quiet moments, allowing the energy between you to speak louder than words. These silences are not empty. They are charged with presence, filled with everything she does not yet say aloud. The quiet becomes its own form of communication, carrying more weight than any sentence ever could. Even technology reflects this shift. If you text or message her, you might notice her responses come quicker, her replies longer, more thoughtful, or more playful than before. She may use emojis that express more emotion, or she may simply engage in conversation more frequently. The platform doesn't matter. What matters is her increased investment. When her body hungers, she seeks closeness in any form available, and communication becomes the outlet through which she feeds that hunger. Another sign lies in the way she compliments or notices details. Her words may become filled with more appreciation, more acknowledgement of small things about you. She might mention your appearance, your scent, your mannerism, or the way you make her feel. Compliments become more personal, more emotionally loaded, because her body pushes her to express her attraction in subtle ways. What might have once gone unspoken now slips into her dialogue as a way of signaling her interest without declaring it outright. And yet it is not always about what she says. It is often about how she says it. You can feel the difference when her words carry an extra layer, when her laughter feels more intimate, when her tone wraps around you like a gentle touch. Words are only the surface. The energy behind them is the real message. When her body hungers, her communication becomes a vehicle of intimacy. Every phrase, every laugh, every pause carries hidden meaning, pulling you deeper into her orbit. This transformation in communication is one of the most profound indicators because it combines both the conscious and unconscious. Consciously, she may think she's talking, just being friendly. Unconsciously, her body is guiding her, shaping her voice, directing her focus, softening her tone, adding playfulness to her words. It is the union of biology, emotion, and energy, all converging into something you can hear and feel in every interaction. When she hungers, her body does not allow her communication to remain the same. It transforms it into a tool of closeness, intimacy, and connection. When a woman's body begins to hunger for intimacy, another noticeable shift appears in the way she pays attention to her appearance. This is not always deliberate, not always calculated, but it reveals itself in the little choices she makes about how she presents herself to the world. When desire stirs within her, there is often a subtle yet undeniable urge to enhance her femininity, to express the beauty of her body in ways that draw attention. It may begin with something as simple as taking a little longer to choose what she will wear, picking clothing that accentuates her curves, highlights her features, or gives her that extra spark of confidence. These choices are not random. They are influenced by the hunger within, a silent pull that makes her want to be seen. Her wardrobe becomes a reflection of her inner state. She may choose softer fabrics that drape around her body, or bolder colors that command attention. She might suddenly gravitate toward dresses, skirts, or outfits that make her feel more sensual, even if she doesn't say why. Sometimes it's in the neckline, sometimes in the fit, sometimes in the way she pairs her outfit with accessories. All of it is her body's way of speaking through style. When a woman hungers, she wants her presence to be felt not only in her energy, not only in her voice, but in the visual language of her appearance. Scent is another powerful element. She may become more intentional with the fragrance she wears, choosing perfumes that linger, scents that are warmer, sweeter, or more alluring. Fragrance is deeply tied to attraction. It stirs memory, emotion, and desire. When her body hungers, she unconsciously leans toward fragrances that highlight her femininity and awaken something in the one who notices. You may find that she wears perfume more often, or that the scent she chooses clings to the air long after she leaves the room. That is not coincidence. It is instinct at work. Her body's guiding her toward tools of attraction. Even if she isn't consciously plotting every detail, pay attention also to the way she carries herself. Posture becomes part of her communication. She may walk with more sway in her hips or stand in a way that emphasizes her figure. Her movements may slow down just enough to draw the eye. This isn't performance. It is the natural byproduct of desire. When she hungers, her body wants to be noticed, and without thinking, she begins to move with more fluidity, more intention, more grace. A glance in the mirror before leaving the house lasts longer. Her hand fixes her hair more often. Her gestures become small rituals of self-expression. Every action becomes charged with the underlying current of her body's craving. Even her grooming habits may shift. Perhaps she invests more time in her hair, in her makeup, in the little details that enhance her overall look. Her lipstick shade may become slightly bolder, her eyeliner more defined, her hair styled in ways that draw attention. These are signals, tiny adjustments that show her awareness of herself has heightened. When the body hungers, self-presentation becomes a way of channeling that energy outward. It is as though her body is saying, notice me, feel me, recognize the fire that is alive within me. Accessories, jewelry, and even the choice of shoes may reveal this inner state. The earrings she wears may dangle and catch the light more. The necklace may rest against her neckline in a way that frames her beauty. The shoes may elongate her stand, add subtle allure. Every detail, whether intentional or subconscious, becomes part of the way her body translates hunger into appearance. A woman in this state does not just dress, she adorns, she expresses, She creates an external mirror of her internal desire. Another telling sign is how often she adjusts herself when you are near, fixing her hair, straightening her clothes, touching her lips. These micro movements are instinctive responses. They are signs that she is not only aware of her appearance, but aware of how you perceive it. Hunger makes her more conscious of how she looks in your presence. She may not admit it, she may not even fully realize it, but her body pushes her to refine, adjust, and heighten her presentation as a silent form of attraction. Her smile becomes part of this shift as well. A smile is not just an expression, it is part of appearance. When her body hungers, her smile becomes more radiant, more intentional, more engaging. She smiles with her whole face, and sometimes even with her body leaning towards you as she does. That smile is not just friendliness. It is an extension of her femininity, a tool her body uses to invite connection. The eyes, too, connect with appearance in this stage. She may experiment with makeup that highlights them, making her gaze more noticeable, more magnetic. Or she may simply allow her natural beauty to shine with minimal effort, relying on the raw confidence that desire fools. Either way, the focus is the same: to project the energy of attraction outward through how she looks. Her body hungers, and her appearance responds as the vessel through which that hunger can be displayed. Ultimately, these shifts in appearance are not about vanity. They are not about superficial beauty. They are about expression. When a woman's body hungers, her natural instinct is to express that hunger in ways that attract, in ways that invite, in ways that reveal without directly saying it. Her appearance becomes a message, a silent declaration that something deeper is moving inside of her. And for those who are attentive, this change is impossible to miss. When a woman's body becomes hungry for intimacy, one of the most telling expressions is a subtle restlessness that begins to take over her energy. This restlessness is not always loud, not always dramatic, but it shows in the little ways she moves, the way her mood shifts, and the way her emotions seem to rise closer to the surface. It is as if her body is carrying a current that is too strong to remain hidden, and that current leaks into her everyday life. You might notice her tapping her fingers more, adjusting her posture frequently, or shifting in her seat as though a sitter feels heavier than before. This is not random. It is her body translating hunger to movement, her spirit signaling that something within her is stirring restlessly, waiting to be acknowledged. Her emotions may also reflect this change. A woman whose body is alive with desire may seem more passionate about things that once didn't move her as deeply. She might speak with more fire, laugh with more intensity, or become more expressive in simple conversations. Her energy becomes amplified, spilling over into her words and actions. Hunger creates sensitivity, and that sensitivity makes her respond more quickly to the world around her. Things that once passed unnoticed now strike her with force. Whether joy, excitement, or even frustration, her body is open, her senses heightened, and her emotions mirror this openness. This restlessness sometimes shows up as daydreaming. She may drift into thought more often, her eyes softening as though she is somewhere else in her mind. These moments of quiet withdrawal are her body's way of processing the hunger she feels. It is as if her mind is painting images her lips will not speak, her imagination filling in what her body craves. Daydreaming is not mere distraction. It is a reflection in her desire searching for an outlet. When her body hungers, her thoughts wander into places of closeness, intimacy, and connection, and those around her may sense her drifting spirit even if they cannot name it. Mood fluctuations can also be a sign. At times, she may be light, playful, full of laughter, while at other moments she may seem restless, impatient, or unsettled. Hunger creates a tension within her, a push and pull between restraint and expression. That tension can spill out as waves of different emotions. One moment she may seem energized and glowing. The next she may appear distant or distract. This is not inconsistency. It is the natural rhythm of desire pressing against her composure, pulling her inward and outward at the same time. Her body language reveals this restlessness too. She might fidget more often, twirl her hair absent-mindedly, bite her lip, or tap her foot without realizing it. These micro movements are not simply habits. They are physical signals of an energy that needs release. The body does not know how to lie about its state. When desire builds, it must show itself, and it often does so through these restless, repetitive actions. To the unobservant eye, they may seem insignificant. But to someone paying attention, they are clear signs of a woman whose body is alive with hunger. Even her presence in conversations may shift. She might seem more attentive, leaning in closer, but at other times distracted, as though her mind is split between the moment and something else stirring inside. This duality reflects her inner struggle. Part of her deeply engaged, part of her pulled into her own restless thoughts. The hunger within creates a magnetic energy, but it also creates an internal storm. Her body wants release, her emotions surge, and her behavior carries that tension outward into the world. Creativity often flows from this restlessness. A woman whose body hungers may suddenly pour herself into music, art, writing, or any form of expression that gives her an outlet. Desires energy, and energy seeks to move. When it cannot be fulfilled directly, it finds other ways of showing itself. You might see her more inspired, more expressive, more alive in her creative pursuits. She channels her restlessness into color, sound, words, or movement, and though she may not consciously connect it, the root of this surge lies in the hunger of her body. Another layer of this restlessness is the way she seeks stimulation. She may become more eager to go out, to experience new things, to surround herself with energy and excitement. Or she may crave deeper conversations, more intimate moments, more closeness with the ones she trusts. The hunger within does not allow her to remain stagnant. It pushes her to experiences that can satisfy her spirit in some way. Whether through adventure, connection, or intimacy, she becomes more alive to the possibilities around her. Her emotional expression grows stronger relationships as well. She may reach out more often, seek reassurance, or become more affectionate in her gestures. Desire does not stay hidden in silence. It pushes her to connect, to bond, to create closeness. This may appear as more frequent texts, longer phone calls, simply more intentional time spent together. Hunger seeks contact, and her emotional expressions are the first waves of that deeper longing. And even in moments of quiet, her restlessness speaks. She may sit beside you, not saying much, but her energy feels different, more charged, more alive, more present. Silence becomes heavy with meaning. Her body is speaking through stillness, her emotions simmering just beneath the surface. You may sense it in the way she breathes, the way she shifts, the way her eyes wander and return. Restlessness is not always loud. It can be soft, quiet, and yet undeniable. This combination of restlessness and emotional expression is the body's way of signaling what words will not. Hunger makes itself known through movement, mood, sensitivity, and creativity. It is a constant pull within her, a vibration that shapes her presence. Those who pay attention will see it clearly. The subtle signs of a woman whose body is speaking through restlessness, whose emotions have become the voice of her hidden desire.